Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we will discuss the taxation of failed business purchases and startup. What are we looking at here? We're looking at when someone is trying to start a business. You might incur some cost. Sometime that business goes through and you proceed, and sometime you stop. You failed. It's not what you thought. How would you treat those expenditure, that startup cost, from a taxation perspective? Now, the tax law draws a sharp line between two things, between thinking about going into a business and actually attempting a specific business. And this distinction, whether you are at point 1 or point 2, actually attempting, determine how the expenditure is treated. It could be treated as non-deductible personal expense, or it could be capital losses, potentially deductible. This is what we will discuss in this session, starting with phase 1 or stage 1 and stage 2 to determine when is it non-deductible, basically personal, and when does it become into something, into capital losses, potentially deductible. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming, not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com, and let's build your tax foundation together. So stage 1, when you're starting a business, all what you're doing is you're doing research, thinking about starting the business. This is the stage of the activity. At this point, you are exploring ideas, reading online, reading industry report, comparing industries. You are not committed to a specific business. Maybe you travel to visit other factories, other businesses. Just you are exploring, basically seeing what you are doing. I would call it window shopping. Here we consider this as personal activity, not business activity. So you are a tourist window shopping. Any expenditure you commit at this stage, it's not deductible. It's not deductible. What does that mean? It means it's a personal expense. Personal expense is not deductible. Once you move from this stage and you move to the more committed stage, now you know you have the business idea, you are doing some due diligence, you are spending money, reviewing financial statements for companies, you are more specific, you identify a target business, you begin serious negotiation, you are showing intent to complete transaction. Here you're moved from thinking to actually attempting to even start up or purchase this business. This is called the bona fide attempt. The result here is any cost you incur becomes capital in nature. So the cost that you incur is capital in nature, deducted as a capital loss if the deals fail. What does that mean? It means at this stage you incurred some cost, but it did not go through. Things did not go through. And this could happen. The deal failed for one reason or another. Any money that you invested, it will be treated as a capital loss. And we have to know the rules about capital losses for individual, maximum 3,000. But let's look at an example to see how this works. So these costs are treated as an investment and a capital asset. So basically all what you did is you took your cash and you purchased, that's what we're saying, you purchased something. Even though the business never materialized, you invested some resources expecting future benefit. Therefore, the loss follow the capital loss rules. So Samantha plans to acquire a small digital marketing firm, and this is Samantha for the sake of this illustration. She spent $1,500 attending general seminars. That's not deductible. She selects a specific firm and incurs $4,000 in legal fees and $3,000 in accounting due diligence for her business. But before signing, the seller backs out. But she committed already $7,000. What can she do with this $7,000? There is no business. She spent money. She doesn't have a business. She doesn't have a company yet. The $1,500, as we already said, it's ignored. It's a personal expense. There's nothing we can do about this. The $7,000 is a capital loss that goes on Schedule D. Now, because it goes on Schedule D, a capital loss, the only thing that she can deduct for this particular year, assuming she doesn't have anything else, is $3,000 of losses. So of the $7,000, she can deduct $3,000, and she can carry the remainder of $4,000 of capital losses. How about if Samantha or anybody else went a step further and acquired asset during the process? Let's assume you're starting a clothing store and you actually bought some inventory, you bought some asset. What do you do with these costs? You capitalize them into the asset, and they're not deductible until you sell those assets. Otherwise, you disposed of them. Again, all what you did is you took some cash that you have and you transfer the cash into an asset called inventory in this situation. The IRS is very interested in determining whether you are truly going after a business or if this is a hobby. And we talked about hobby losses in a different recording. This is highly tested concept. If you have a genuine business attempt, losses are allowed as capital losses, assuming it's a failed attempt. Hobby or casual activities, those are not deductible. So the IRS require a serious profit motive and seriousness. They're really looking at what you are trying to do. Now, how about if a corporation is attempting to start a business, makes an attempt? Guess what? Corporations are treated more favorably. What does that mean? If a corporation incur costs like lawyer, accountant, a consultant, financial analyst, guess what? Those expenditure or those losses are treated as ordinary losses, and they are deductible against ordinary income. It's basically a business. And this is a major contrast with individual. And this is often tested on the EA or CPA exam. So understand that corporation is different. Now, you might be saying why? Well, let's think about it. Individuals are individuals. They have different motive, different profit motive, different motivation, different goals. The corporation has only one goal. It's a business entity. It's a 100% purely business. So the IRS does not have to investigate or look into the motive of the corporation. The assumption is the corporation is a business entity. They exist for a business. But remember, as an individual, what we're doing, it could be a pleasure, it could be business. And the IRS is not interested in giving us the benefit of the doubt. It's a business until we prove it's a business. Therefore, for a corporation, we always assume it's an actual business. Therefore, it's an ordinary business loss, and those loss can be deducted. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Sammy incurred $6,000 researching different industries and later spent $4,000 on legal fees to acquire a specific business that ultimately fails. Okay, how would these costs be treated? So in total, we spent $10,000, $6,000 on research and $4,000 on legal fees to acquire a specific business. All right. So Sammy is an individual. Can we deduct $10,000 as ordinary loss? No. And if this is allowed, just think about this, just logically, why would not be allowed? Here's what I would do if this was allowed. Here's what I would do, or every individual would do. Every year I will take $15,000, $20,000, or whatever money I have extra, and I will attempt a business. If the business succeed, great, I make money. If the business fails, I can deduct it against my income. Anyone will do that then. It will not be allowed. So deduct $10,000 as ordinary loss. You say, no, it's not. Deduct 6,000, capitalize 4 as capital loss. Can we do that? What we're saying is you can deduct the 6,000 researching different industries and the 4,000 you can have as a capital loss. Actually, this is partially correct. The 4,000 of capital loss is correct. You cannot deduct the 6,000. No deduction for the 6,000. It's considered personal expense because you could have just did that research, traveled, incurred expenditure, and you just kind of walked away. They're not going to allow you to deduct it unless you commit. The 4,000 is a commitment. Once you commit, that's fine. You did not start yet. You failed actually. The 4,000 is treated as capital loss, as if you have acquired something. Therefore, C is the answer. No deduction for the 6,000 and the 4,000 is a capital loss. Capitalize all 10,000 and recover upon sale. No, you can capitalize the 4,000 and recover upon sale. If you are using Farhat Lectures, you could ask AI to explain the topic, explain the correct and incorrect answer, and create a similar MCQ. Whether you are a CPA exam candidate, enrolled agent, accounting student studying for a professional certification, or studying for your courses, the best investment you can make that no one can take that away from you is invest in yourself. Go to Farhat Lectures, look at additional resources, multiple choice exercises, lectures, AI resources, and God bless.